Synergy. Oh, sorry, everybody. Welcome back to the Backyard Gardens podcast. It's another fantastic day, and we are rounding out our synergy series about everything that really, all the pieces to the puzzle to get your garden really nice and strong and producing the way you want. I'm personally tired of using the word synergy, but that's where we sit right now with this. And
You're the only one that wants to use the word synergy.
I know, it's ridiculous. I sometimes I just do that. But yeah, if you want to support the show, please do so by becoming a patron, going to Apple subscriptions, or buying some seeds from us from our seed shop. The code is YBBBB, and it will be good until February 15th. So we would love to send you some seeds so you can have a backyard gardens garden, as Batavia coined.
That makes me happy.
So I've got my shout out to all of my social distortion fans out there, because I've got a theory that we're going to get into today that is not the most popular or well known, and that's okay. But I don't know if I've told you this either, Batavia. But we're going to talk about days to harvest and why it is important for your garden. We're guilty. You know that, right?
Nope.
We're guilty of many things, but one thing we're guilty on is crapping on the days to harvest on the seed packets. Do you think that they're accurate?
I think that I hate this question. This is my favorite episode in the series, the synergy series. That's it. You're not getting it again from me. The synergy series. That's it. This is my favorite episode, but I hate this debate because you already know that you and I differ here. So I believe they're accurate under the condition of germination 2 days to harvest, not seeding, not sowing, but
Yeah.
days to harvest.
And I believe that they're accurate in perfect growing conditions. That's what I believe. I believe temperature's perfect, water's perfect, everything's perfect, and that's what you get. I know that my days to harvest never, ever match the days to harvest on the seed packet. I mean, absolutely not. But that being said, I know roughly how long it takes for things to be harvested, which is very, very important.
I think it's a really nice general guide,
Yes.
right? If I had never grown broccoli before, if I had never grown carrots before, how would I know that it's time to harvest, right?
Right.
And we also know, call back to the very first episode, which I think was variety, one of the earlier episodes, right? It differs when it comes to the days to harvest. But I do absolutely agree. The conditions are absolutely folded into that estimate that they're giving. I'm calling it an estimate. I don't know that they call it that. But I do believe that it ties into the things that we've been talking about, especially around the timing bit of it. You kind of have to have some guideline. Your experience may end up trumping the guideline that's on the seed package, and that's okay too.
Yeah. And I mean, so first of all, the first episode we did was timing. So there is that. But yeah, it definitely folds. Yeah. Well, to the listener, it was weeks ago, but it was an hour ago. But I was, the whole time you were speaking, I was like, what was the first one? I was thinking really hard.
Mhm.
But it's really important for a multitude of reasons. But the big thing is that the days to harvest is something that we need to understand so we know when to pull the plant out. We know, like off the top of my head, sweet potatoes is about 100 days. Well, you can't see what's underground, so we almost have to go by that date. So that's one reason why it's really important. Now, if you have something like carrots or something like that, you can kind of see, you can check the shoulders on them, see across the board, like, oh, this one's good, let me pull that one, stuff like that. But it can get a little bit hairy. Can you think of anything that like just makes it so you absolutely have to have the days of harvest, the days right before you harvest?
I think white potatoes are a good example of you really, again, a crop that's buried you really want to pay close attention to the days to harvest and the other signs, right? Like potato plants dying back. I think because in a lot of cases we're curing something like a white potato or red potato or purple potato. We're curing one of those. I think it's important to try to get an accurate days to harvest. I think that obviously if you're pulling things out of the garden much earlier than the days to harvest, you're likely pulling a smaller vegetable, even if you do something like a bell pepper,
Yeah.
right? Days to harvest, which is actually a tricky one. If it's supposed to be a purple bell pepper, is the days to harvest the time that it's gonna take for it to turn purple, for it to mature? Or
Yeah.
is it days to harvest for the time it takes to be the sizable green pepper first that it really turns out to be?
Yeah, we've got those purple beauty peppers in our seed shop that I'm personally excited to grow. So I've not grown a purple pepper,
Beautiful
so it should
pepper.
be interesting. But
Yeah, I have.
yeah,
It's
I
a
know.
winner.
Yeah,
Winner.
that's why we picked it. I
Yes.
mean, it was your
Yeah.
suggestion. So yeah, I'm definitely excited about that. But yeah, and I mean the other thing too is if you know the days of harvest and you know roughly how long they've been in the ground, you can kind of judge. I mean, if you're let's pick radishes for an example. It's a short grow time. It's supposed to be like, I think it's, what is it, Batavia, like 21 days or so?
Uh, 25 days, I think it's the shortest I can remember.
25 days, right? But
Mhm.
if you grow it and you're at 30 days and you've got a little tiny radish and you're like, hey, that's not right, then you know you can let it go a little bit longer. But we also know at that point, like, there's a lot of growing to do. So something's going on. Shout out to the fertilizer portion of the seed. I'm telling you, this is all going to come back together and mix up. So, it could be a watering issue, something like that. But yeah, all of that really does make a difference and it matters. But I want to get into, I want to spend a significant portion of time talking about using it to your advantage and this theory that I've come up with. It is that planting season. And so what on the Backyard Gardens podcast, what we do is we plant our gardens, but we plant multi-season gardens. And with that comes planting intensively. I mean, would you say, Batavia, that you plant pretty intensively in your garden?
I think for spring and summer, I absolutely do.
Yeah. Yeah. So multi-season gardening at that point. So we do that. And what that looks like is it's basically you pull a plant out and you get another plant in, but you've got to plan that stuff out because going all the way back to the beginning, we talk about timing, and this factors directly into the timing. So it's really important that we understand our days to harvest.
Is that so? I thought you were signaling to me, and I was going to give the audience a clue to I want to spend a significant amount of time on this, Batavia. So don't get off topic, Batavia. Don't bring up things that aren't related to this particular topic, Batavia. That's what I heard and received.
No, now, I mean, look, I am the director of the show, but you have to admit, it's pretty freeing around here. I let you go in the directions you want. I rarely cut you off.
Uh, all of the let yous and all right, let's continue to stay
Yeah,
focused.
yeah. So
New year, new Batavia has not loaded, guys and gals.
no,
So
she
there's that.
hasn't. I'm kind of nervous, but
But yeah, I mean, I think that one of the biggest pieces is getting your harvest at the optimum time. So
yeah,
days to harvest helps influence that, right? And then what comes next? Days to harvest. If you're planting a multi-season garden, you have to have some understanding of when you're going to be pulling plants out of your garden, when you're going to have open spaces. And that leads directly into when you have an opportunity to put something else in that space, right? You're not just waiting around and seeing what's going to happen. Well, for the long term, you're not doing that. In the early years, like days to harvest, I'm looking at the seed package. I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. And so now I, years later, can build a library and say, well, yeah, the carrots say 75 days, but it's really 90 days is what it's going to take. I need a full 3 months for this. And so that 2 weeks difference makes a big difference when it comes to what I'm putting in next. Am I planting something mid-July or early August, mid-August or early September? It all ties together.
it absolutely does. And I mean, the thing to remember when we're doing this is it's not about, having it figured out right away. It's just like Batavia said, it's figuring out over time, paying attention. And I mean, I don't think it's important necessarily to know how many days it takes for a radish to produce. But I think what's more important is, hey, if I put my radishes in March, they're going to come out in April. I think that is the important part. And then understanding what comes next, because what I'm doing this year is I'm going to start relying very heavily on the days to harvest, meaning when does this come out? When is this plant going to be harvestable? And then what's going in behind it. So we're going to start putting all of this together and saying, okay, like for instance, and just to go kind of difficult, I know I've been growing Brussels sprouts for a couple years now, and last year was my first real harvest. But I haven't gotten enough harvest under my belt to understand really the optimum time for them to be harvested. So I know roughly when that is. So what I've done in my plan is I've built out this period of, look, my Brussels sprouts will be ready to harvest somewhere between January and February. And so then I look and I said, well, what's going in there next? Well, because there's that wide time frame, I made the decision to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to plant anything in that bed until April. But at the same time, I know that my lettuces and my broccolis, like they're going to bolt, if not be harvested by April. So I know whatever needs to go in April is going to go into that spot. And so relying
It's
on
gonna be a
this
summer
days,
plant.
it's going to be a summer plant. And so that allows me to say, hey, I went through last year, we talked about in the winds how I had 100% harvest on my broccoli, and I was able to get them all out, let it rest, excuse me, and then go from there and then get those tomatoes or those peppers in the ground afterwards and use that timing to my advantage.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, I think that when it comes to, and we're wrapping up, but it probably was understood, so maybe it doesn't need to be said, but I'll say it anyway. We've really been heavily focused on kind of single harvest crops. We're talking about, days to harvest where you're harvesting and then ultimately pulling the plant. Generally speaking, that's what we focused on this particular episode. When you talk about days to harvest for a tomato, generally you're talking about days to your first harvest, not necessarily your last. Same thing with peppers, same thing with, any kind of multi fruiting crop. And I think that whole other episode would be around kind of when do you actually decide you're going to pull those plants. That's not for today. But I do want to make that note around, single harvest crops, which a lot of our gardens represent. It's really, really crucial, and the reason why we're talking about days to harvest, because I think in the order, the best version of that crop you're going to get, if you have a good understanding when it comes to the most nutrients, the tastiest, if you understand the days to harvest, and then again, the impact it's going to have on the rest of your garden season, because it's about the timing of when you're going with something next. To your point, it could be weeks later before you put something else in, but it's still good to have the understanding that that Brussels sprout plant may come out in January or February.
Yeah, exactly. But the important thing too is to understand, like, hey, this plant's coming out now and then it's going to go back in. Something's going to go back in and you can build in that break. So a lot of times, like if you're trying to plant intensively and get through multi-season gardens, the general urge is like, I got to get something in the ground. I got to get it in there now. But when you understand how long it takes to harvest, for instance, my sweet potatoes, I know it's about 100 days. I don't really go by 100 days. What I go by is like early September to late September, they're coming out. What can go behind there? Well, if it comes out in early September, I can get a younger seedling back in its spot. If it comes out at the end of September, I can get a more mature seedling back into that spot. Or I can direct sow X, Y, or Z, and for the purposes of this episode, I guess I should say, if it was later, I could put like lettuce in there, radishes, turnips, something that's faster to grow and would allow me to get a harvest sooner. So there's a lot of these little tricks that you can use, but knowing when you put, and this is why consistency is so important,
Yeah.
because we always like we talk a lot on this show about like, hey, branch out, do different varieties, do this, do that. But when it comes down to it, what we're really concerned about is getting those plants in and out of the ground at the same time. Basically, no matter what, a tomato is going to go in the ground every year around the same time. Now, if it's determinate or indeterminate, it can come out at different times. But to expand a little bit away from single harvesting crops, if you're growing a tomato and it's an indeterminate and you know that it's going to produce all the way up until your first frost, then you know what's going in that spot afterwards. But that's an important aspect to know. But what's also important is understand, when does that plant really start to slow down to where it's almost not worth it to keep the plant in the ground. And I'm kind of encroaching on that other subject that we're not going to get because we're running out of time
I
fast.
I will add one more bit. For me in my garden, days to harvest impacts when I'm planting or where I'm planting things, I should say. Right?
Hmm.
So when something is coming out of my garden determines if I'm going to put it in a bed in the front yard versus if I'm going to put it in the bed in the backyard. And then obviously the thing that comes after it, if something comes after it, it all sweet potatoes in your instance, you're going to plant behind sweet potatoes. For me, I'm not. I may put garlic behind sweet potatoes, but that's going to be in my garden for almost the duration of the season, at least from summer to a bit of fall. Those things kind of tie in.
Yeah, and it's important though. I mean, even though you're like, well, garlic doesn't matter, but it does matter because you've found a spot for it based on when that comes out. So it's really important. And I think it's a piece of the puzzle that is it gets lost in the sauce. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's when is this plant done? And that's one reason. It's actually a very big reason why I don't do broccoli side shoots, because essentially what I'm doing is I'm just growing it for what? You know what I mean? Like I can get it in the ground, get it out, get my main harvest, and then by the time now some seasons, some places are different. I will say that, if you're in a cooler environment and they can keep going for months, absolutely. But for
Some
me,
varieties are different.
some
Mhm.
varieties are different. But for me, it makes absolutely no sense because the poundage of what I'm going to get out of that compared to the other is minimal compared to the peppers, the tomatoes, or whatever I put in behind it.
Yeah, and then for me, side shoots for some seasons make sense for me,
Right.
right? I could get just a little bit more. Do I have something ready to go in if I pull this broccoli plant? Which I can't encourage you enough. If you plan on planting something after you've reached your days to harvest and you've pulled the plant, decide what that's going to be even as you're putting that first plant in. Like just don't say I'm going to plant something, I'll figure it out. Make the decision on what's supposed to go in a week after you pull the broccoli plant, 2 weeks or whatever have you. That's my biggest recommendation as we kind of talk about days to harvest and how it impacts the rest of your growing season.
Absolutely. So in this series that we've done, which it starts out exclusively on YouTube, and then if you're listening to it on a podcast, it comes out later. We've talked about in specific order. Usually I say no specific order, but specific order: timing, variety, fertilizing, irrigation, and days to harvest. So these pieces to the puzzle, if you were to work on something over the year, these are the pieces to add back together and really get them going. So all of these pieces will help your gardens grow. These are the top ones that we could come up with. There are
Yeah.
absolutely more things, but these are the top factors within your garden that will really help it be productive and grow more. So we really hope you found this useful and you can apply it. And remember, you have a whole season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, even 4 seasons to really master this year and start paying attention to it. And paying attention to these individual traits will make a difference. So if you'd like to support the podcast, you can do so by becoming a patron, going to Apple subscriptions, excuse me, or getting some seeds from our seed shop. Link is below. Use the code YBBBB. And remember, on this show, we do 2 things: we learn to grow and we grow for change.
See ya.